Zhafri, and this is my wife.
Hi, I'm Tayeba.
I choose a book, the one thing, and Taiba has.
I've got Love is the Killer app by Tim Sanders.
For the next 10 minutes, we are just going to flip to a random page or chapter, and in that 10 minutes, we'll read and learn something to share and teach each other. Let's get into it.
So, oh, okay, my chapter is on knowledge. So, I'm just going to read this chapter, and your one is?
Mine is, it's called The One Thing.
Okay. All right, so give us 10 minutes and we'll be back. Just going around the office workplace and saying, "Ah, you're the best, I love you, mate," and you're not really following it up with real business value, it can come across as inauthentic, which is even more toxic than any other workplace practices. So he's saying be genuine in your dealings with people and offer them real business value. And he said that a need for a real authentic stronghold. So when he says a stronghold, so before in the past it used to be that corporations would provide that service to you. They would support you, they'd look after you, they'd make sure you had a job, make sure you had the timer, they would care for you from start to finish, not rewarded. So Tim suggests that we actually create strongholds within people, within corporations. So you create a stronghold centered on caring people who support you, which is find support network, because we don't have companies or corporations. This is my support network right here, and yeah, it's just he's saying that that's the thing to create a stronghold, a place where you feel nurtured. How can we do that? Well, it's by possessing knowledge, but it's not just knowledge. Instead of the social currency where people would have like conversations about the weather or football, kind of easy conversations, he says the value is not there. The value is actually in knowledge currency. And knowledge currency is, he says it's social currency, which is the easy conversations on steroids. So knowledge currency is important, it's powerful, it's effective, it's real value. So he goes, don't just give shallow knowledge. So like, don't skim read an article and then go and have a conversation with somebody about it, because the second they start asking you questions or challenging you, it will expose that actually you just read a shallow article. There's no value in it. What he does say is quite interesting and quite apt, actually. He says to read books, which is what we're doing right now. We're reading books. And if you're familiar with the 80-20 rule, I mean, like the 80-20 rule is what? 20% of effort to get 80% result?
Yeah.
Do you know the name of that?
I think it's called the Pareto principle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Pareto principle.
So he's saying apply that to your knowledge gathering. And he says to spend 80% of time reading books and 20% on articles and news. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, currently I'm reading maybe about 90% articles and news. It's all quite shallow. You know, you're flicking through the internet and you just see article after article after article. But, yeah, he says that the gold is actually in the books. So I don't know if he's saying that because he's an author. I don't think so. I just got so much value out of doing this exercise. 10 minutes, and we've just got all these key points. Whereas before I would be thinking that, oh, I don't have time to sit and read this whole book. If you just read a chapter, how many chapters are in this book? There are 4 chapters. Okay, there are 4 chapters in this book. So if I spend 10 minutes maths is not my strong point, but if I could get the key points from this book in about an hour, sharing it with somebody else, so it's really ingraining it in my mind. So yeah, this way of reading books and gaining knowledge and gaining value that I can share with others is invaluable. Like I said, we're here at 4 a.m. in the morning, and we are tired, but we were able to just do this exercise super fast. And now I actually feel a bit energized. And yeah, it's a good I don't want to say tactic. It's a good method for sharing knowledge. So my accountability partner has learned about, well,
I guess, yeah, Tara, thanks. If I can summarize, maybe I can check with you what I've got from that sharing. That, in the workplace or whatever environment you're in, with colleagues, you want to do what you can to really give value. You want to do what you can to connect with your colleagues, with your workmates authentically. So that when you say, oh, I love you, bro, or like I care for you, it's not just it's not a hollow statement. That there's something behind it. Yeah. And there's also this concept of the stronghold. The stronghold that nourishes you, whether you're an employee or whether you're in your family, that nourishes you, that protects you. And that if you used to work in an MNC or the government and you knew you had pension waiting for you, after working with them for a few decades, it isn't really something that our generation, the generations that come after us, will have. And so today, the stronghold, your support network really is in the people around you. And so, if we want to be adding value to that network, chances are we want to go beyond superficial small talk conversations. We want to go beyond just talking about the football match last night. Although if you are a Man U supporter and you won against Chelsea, you probably you probably be gushing. Uh, but yeah,
I am not a football follower. I'm not sure what you just
but
said
yeah,
there.
beyond that, see so clear, like what I'm interested in might not be necessarily what someone else is interested. But if I can be acquiring, something which is more valuable than this small talk, what we call social currency, acquiring what we call knowledge currency, which like social currency on steroids. So what's knowledge currency? Maybe something deeply insightful and useful gleaned from an article or book. But I think Taiba, you mentioned that it's the author mentioned it's preferable to work with an 80-20 rule where you devote more time towards reading books, going in deeper rather than shorter articles, and that because you put in the time to read, you contemplate it, and then you have something, you have some insight, genuine insight that you can share, when you're engaging with your colleagues, with the people around you. So, did I get that right?
Yeah, well, that's the conclusion I came to as well. So, thank you, Tim Sanders of Love is the Killer app. And just this book was written in 2002, so it's getting on a bit, but it's still applicable. And I bet you can find any book on your bookshelf at the moment. Just grab a book, pick a chapter, and you will find something relevant. Especially when you can share it with an accountability partner, they can help you to pick out insights that will just give you a fresh look. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're producing content, then this is a great way to just get some fresh inspiration from a static book.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Carla. And that's it. I think we're done for.
Not quite. You read a book as well.
Oh yeah. So okay. Yeah. The process of okay. So I read the book as well. It's called The One Thing, and I just so happened. I kind of cheated. I just flipped to the front, and the first chapter is called The One Thing. So in 10 minutes of reading, like it's kind of ironic that the book's called The One Thing, but it has several hundred pages. But just to make the point that all of us, have the same amount of time in a day, in a week, in a month. And so the author asserts, if time is the currency of achievement, why are some of us able to cash in our time for more chips? That means, how are some people able to get more out of their time? And the author says that the way that happens is because the essence of how people get the most out of their time is that they focus, they go read results. And I think quantitatively, if we look at billionaires especially, like massive results are directly determined by how narrow these people can focus. And so this book is talking about, and it's a question that I found very useful, is what's the one thing that you can do? What's the one thing that you can do this week that if you did that one thing, everything else surrounding it would either become easier or entirely unnecessary. That means, let's say you had 5 items on your to-do list, 10 items on your to-do list, and to be very focused and just single out that one thing. And the one most important thing, like you do that, like everything else becomes easier. Okay, what do I mean by easier? Maybe I'll use the analogy the author used, which was the concept of dominoes. You know, usually knock down a domino in front of it, which is twice as large.
Twice as large.
Yeah. So if you've analyzed your to-do list and you've aligned it and you find the most pivotal point and you just focus on smashing that, that will usually line up and hit the next thing, and that will have a ripple effect. And also goes on to assert that if you start with a small domino and it doubles again, 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 you can start with a small domino and on the 57th time you're going to have a domino that's going to topple that stretches from the earth to the moon. So maybe we might not get that far, but still the author asserts.
Who's the author?
The author is Gary Keller, together with Papasan.
Okay.
And the book is both a New York Times as well as a Wall Street Journal bestseller. So, okay, again about dominoes, imaginary, extraordinary. The author, and that's reachable. You should have big goals, and these big and massive goals are possible if you prioritize everything and you devote all your energy to accomplishing the one small thing that matters to you. Yeah. So if you focus on doing that small thing that you can do today, then what you realize is that builds sequentially into success, and it's one thing building on into another thing at a time.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I got for my 10 minutes with the one thing. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Gary and Jay, thank you. Alright, so it kind of sounds like the same thing that I got from the book that I picked up in terms of pivot and efficiency, would you say? So
leverage, yeah.
Leverage.
The point of greatest.
Thank you. I knew there was a word. So it's just, I guess I'm just thinking of my to-do list at the moment, and it's like thinking, okay, so how to know what prioritization then? What to know, what to tackle first, what you can leave, prioritization of that. Okay. And also using this one thing to chunk down a big task like reading a book. So, okay, so your technique kind of fits in nicely. It's really interesting because we both picked these pages at random. but they're both applicable to the method that you just taught us.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was just saying before, like reading 10 minutes of this, focused reading of this with a view to teach somebody else means that it really implants this information in my head in 10 minutes. I can grab my book, do a 10-minute read, and then chase after the baby. But I can relax a little bit in my day knowing that I've achieved something on my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take that much effort.
Yeah.
So I've got the result, I've got my 80% result from a 20% thing. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
You're
making
welcome.
this. Yeah.
So I think this ties in with something that I'm focusing on the 3S series, which is focus. I'm focusing on focus, and we realize that a lot of us, if we actually do finish a whole book, and I think that's actually quite a rarity. How many of us have
Yeah.
a whole bookshelf of books that we just don't read? It's nice to have them in the living room or in our
Yeah.
bedroom there to see. But even those 2 or 3 books that the average person finishes, how much of these do we actually remember? Like I was saying, like all of the intention to teach someone are more likely to retain it, and you can only really use something that you have. And so, I highly encourage you that, if there's a particular area in your business that you need to master, if it's marketing or sales, communications, negotiations, team building, maybe if you can do what you need to do. Ask Google, get the top 1 or 2 picks in that niche,
A book.
yeah, a book. And then if the book is 200, 300 pages, don't feel pressured to consume all of it in a short span of time. But rather you could do what we did, find an accountability partner
Yeah.
and break that book up into small chunks, 10 pages, 10 pages, 10 pages. And if you just did 10 pages in, once in the morning, once in the evening, with your spouse, and maybe another time at the workplace, with the person sitting in the other cubicle opposite you, or with someone in the same department as you. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of synergy.
And it also applies online as well. So even if you're a solopreneur and you don't really have a network that you see face to face, you can still find somebody online to do it. In fact, maybe you might make like a Facebook group. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If you're interested, then let us know in the comments below, and then we can
drop us a message, and we'll add you to a Facebook group where we bring together like-minded entrepreneurs, or people who just need a support group to bring their ideas to life, to find new ways to move forward in business and in life. So thanks for tuning into the 3S series.
Yeah, and if you found it useful, then subscribe and like it and share with your friends so that they can learn this technique as well. Expand your network, and then you'll have more people that you can interact with and learn from. Like, you'll be able to consume so many more books and make these really good connections as well. So you're sharing and learning. And just subscribe and we'll make more. We've got a ton of books. I had my library, he had his library, we got mine, we got a really big library, and they're just sitting there looking pretty. But there's so much information in there. I can't wait to apply this to other books. So I'm looking forward to just grabbing loads of it. I want to read all the books.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Like maybe, like Tara said, comment, maybe share what you learned in your 10 minutes.
Yeah, talk to us. We'll read all the comments and reply back to you. But if you want to see more, then let us know and we'll make more.
I'm Zhafri.
I'm Tayeba.
And thanks for tuning. Goodbye now.
Bye.